all those moments will be lost in time.
Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. It is me, the highlighter you lose and then find under the couch 5 years later. I actually tried wearing my neon green wig with this and I thought it was gonna be like a look and it just ended up looking like vomit. So anyway, today what we're gonna talk about, my eyes are already tearing up because I'm so pissed. This case is absolutely one of the peak examples of everything I actually despise. And if I make jokes, it's because I'm actually really angry and I've read this article like 10 times, wondering how it is that humanity has gotten to this point. That's the energy we're going in with. Convicted pedophile to be released from jail after becoming a woman, no longer deemed a threat. So this is the fun time where I say for the millionth time, just because you're a woman or transition into a woman and get hormones, it doesn't mean every problem is automatically solved. Now, granted, I'm not a doctor. I know how hormones work to a very limited extent, but nonetheless, if you're a repeat offender, and you'll see to what extent this person is a repeat offender, I just don't know if transitioning would be enough to stop you from being depraved. I'm gonna get into it. But considering this title, I think we need some holy water. Someone gifted me this spray, so if we get to it, I have a little mask I can wear to like cover myself from becoming infected with this absolute lunacy. A convicted felon will be released from jail after undergoing a gender transition because Iowa authorities no longer view the repeat sex offender as a threat. Joseph Matthew Smith, who according to court documents identifies as Josie, was transferred over the weekend to Sioux City Residential Facility Center ahead of her transition release, the Storm Lake Times repeated, citing a spokesman for the Iowa Department of Corrections. The Iowa Attorney General's office will no longer pursue the incarceration of Smith, who was convicted in 2014 of molesting a fellow student at a residential treatment program. Now this is where you're gonna get mad. Well, I mean, I'm already mad. I don't know if you are. According to a preliminary report prepared by the state's expert, Smith molested as many as 15 victims, ranging in age from 1 to 15, prior to being sentenced to prison in December 2015. 15 victims. One of them as young as 1 year old. They just think that transitioning has solved everything? Listen, I don't have a problem with people being trans. Do whatever you want. Any identity you want to take, as long as it doesn't harm people, I don't care, genuinely. The thing is, I have a bone to pick with people who choose an identity that is used as a tool. I've seen this in my life, people who pretended to be gay or people who pretended to be trans, and usually when that happened, it was because they were under fire for something and then they said, oh, well, I'm this. In my opinion, and I don't think this is a crazy conspiracy theory, I don't know if I believe if this person is actually trans or if they're using it, because the fact that they're trans and they're on hormones is the thing that's qualifying them to get out of prison. So you understand why I would be skeptical that someone would suddenly realize that they're trans right when they go to prison. And the thing that pisses me off more, I'm not trans. I do watch trans creators, so my understanding is limited, but I still, I guess, am somewhat informed. When people do things like this, you're making a mockery out of actual trans people who have experienced gender dysphoria, who have experienced plenty of things that has made their life hellish before they transition, if they choose to transition, whatever the case may be. They've gone through some actual struggles, so for someone to put it on like it's a beanie or just like a hat you're gonna wear that day, and also just saying this strengthens homophobes' arguments that LGBT people are depraved or that people who are LGBT are pedophiles. I had someone in my family, she's not anymore, excommunicated, who believed that gay people were pedophiles. And this type of person is the person who makes this narrative continue because they choose to be trans. So that's my TED Talk. Thanks for coming.
I think this place will run better without.
The report issued before Smith underwent her gender transition recommended she be confined at the Cherokee Civil Commitment Unit for sex offenders. However, the recommendation was based on her male sex drive. According to a former director of the Cherokee Civil Commitment Unit for sex offenders, it is much harder for the state to prove someone is at risk to reoffend once the individual significantly lowers their testosterone levels. Smith, 16 at the time, was convicted in March 2014 for lascivious acts with a child, Iowa Sex Offender Registry records show. Another listing on the Iowa Sex Offender Registry shows Smith was convicted of sexual abuse in the second degree in August 2012. In October 2017, Smith began began using female pronouns and expressed a desire to undergo a gender transition, the Storm Lake Times reported in November. For the past 2 years, Smith has been receiving treatment for gender reassignment. The Attorney General's office dismissed an application seeking to commit Smith on January 9th, court records show. Now, I'm gonna pause here. Let's say that my conspiracy theory that I think that this being trans is a tool being used. Let's say this person, this pedophile, is actually trans. They did what they did. So I don't buy this thing of they're not gonna reoffend because their sex drive is different. And even my therapist was like, that sounds like bullshit. But anyway, giving all the benefits of the doubt, believing everything that's said here, no matter how ridiculous it sounds. Even if this person is trans and is receiving hormones, and even if they really won't reoffend, which is hard for me to believe when you've offended 15 times, but okay, they still offended 15 times. So even if you believe they're not gonna reoffend, they still have to pay the price for what they did. Like, let's not get shit fucked up and just say, oh yeah, you're not gonna reoffend. So the 15 victims, the 1-year-old, fuck them. Doesn't matter. You're on a clean slate because guess what? Now you're totally not gonna reoffend. Am I delusional? Like, I read these articles and I genuinely wonder, am I losing my entire shit? The answer is yes. When asked why the application was dismissed, Attorney General spokesman Lynn Hicks told the Storm Lake Times that an offender's hormone levels are an important part of substantiating an offender's likelihood of recidivism. We don't believe we have evidence sufficient to prove Josie Smith has a significant chance of reoffending, Hicks said earlier this month. Hicks said Smith will be subject to strict sex offender reporting requirements and urged the public not to overreact to Smith's release. She'll be subject to supervision for the rest of her life, Hicks said. It is not clear when Smith will be released. Listen, I definitely understand that public outrage is a thing, and I'm guilty of it. I think most people are probably. The fact that they're asking for the public not to overreact. You're releasing a pedophile who abused 15 people. Their gender at this point, I don't give a fuck. Like, if they're really trans, if they're not trans, if they're using it, like, I still think it's disgusting to try and use a label to get out of something. But nonetheless, in the end, this is a person, a human person, a flesh sack, and they abused 15 people. I just don't understand why anything else has to be up for discussion at this point. I really don't. And even if they're not likely to reoffend, like I said, they did what they did. It'd be like saying, oh yeah, this person murdered 15 people, but we don't think he's gonna murder again, so he's piecing out today. I mean, in my mind, guilty and also stay in prison because no, absolutely not. I'm pissed. I really am pissed. And I just don't understand why we're allowing blatant pedophiles to just get out of prison because of a change in their identity. I don't support it. I'm sorry, I don't support it. And it doesn't matter if you're trans or not or anything. The hormones might be changing, their sex drive might be lower, but that doesn't even mean for sure that they're gonna stop, especially if they've done this 15 times that we know of, mind you, just that we know of. Also, the other thing that I should have mentioned is that I do believe this sets up a dangerous precedent, because what if other people start identifying as part of the LGBT community in order to get, I don't know, a form of leniency? And I realize in some ways this is a slippery slope kind of idea where it's like, yeah, that might happen, but it also might not. But it does concern me because if criminals see it as a quote unquote way out, why would they not use it? So apologies, I'm doing a voiceover because I lost the audio on the end of the footage. However, you pretty much get the idea of how I feel about this. Please do let me know what you think. Do you think this is setting up a dangerous precedent? Do you think this pedophile is actually trans? Do you think it's a valid reason to be let out? Do you think they're likely to reoffend? These are all the questions I've kept asking myself, and frankly, I just can't really imagine a world where this person would not reoffend, especially if they're shown leniency. I don't know. It scares me though.